and I got someone's fucking kneecap right in the belly of my thigh, full force. And literally, I just remember going.
Welcome back to Tied Down TV, the punk rock opinion show with me, Geoff.
And Danny.
Today we're going to be doing top 5 UK hardcore albums, finally touching on it.
So we've covered UK 82,
yeah.
We've covered D-Beat,
yeah.
We've covered grindcore,
yeah.
All little subgenres that could
definitely
cross. You could have albums that cross over into UK hardcore.
Yeah.
So let's leave that stuff at the door. We've covered it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there's a couple of albums I would have liked to have picked Heresy Face Up to It, but I'd previously picked it in one of them videos.
Yeah.
So I think when you're talking about UK hardcore, your own country or whatever, I think it's not it's naturally you're going to be naturally a little bit biased to your own specific scene. Mm-hmm. In our case, the Liverpool scene.
Yeah.
So we're a little bit too young for Planet X. Yeah, legendary venue,
missed
obviously. Missed out, but. Our time, very early 2000s, right through the 2000s, we had venues like Heaven and Hell, Slaughterhouse, Magnet had gigs on, Roadkill. There was a place up next to, what's the name of that place there? That's on the same road as the Magnet.
Place.
Yeah. Bumper. There was like a little place there that upstairs. I can't remember what it was called. That was a good little venue for a while. So. I think the reason as well the scene was so good then is the amount of promotions we had going on. Mm-hmm. We had like Thrash Gig, obviously. Yeah. We had Video Nasties. Yeah. We had Say It To My Face. These were all like, they were pretty prolific. That's the thing. It wasn't that there were so many, it's that they were prolific. And back then it was like something was going on every fucking week.
Say, we were going to shows.
Yeah, it was like literally every week. And it seemed like every fucking person was in a band. Like everyone you seen at shows back then was in a band,
and
you know what I mean?
In a lot of scenes, a lot of members interchanging through some of those bands
exactly.
as well.
And another thing when we're talking about UK hardcore, we discussed it, so much amazing music has come out on EP format.
Yeah.
That there's going to be a part 2 to this without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, we've got a couple of EPs and 7s.
So you start first. So hang on. Obviously, with all these records we picked, one thing I'm glad about is we've mixed it up a little bit. Yeah. We've picked something old, something new.
Yeah, I've kind of like
something borrowed,
nothing.
And I'm wearing something blue. So
and I've kind of like picked. I've got like an 80s pick, a couple of 90s picks, and then I've got 2 that kind of fit. One in the 2010s and one very recent one. Tried to spread it out a little bit. There's tons of stuff that I've probably not picked that people think should be in the list. But anyway, I'm going to start off with Defiance of Power by Ripcord. Classic UK hardcore. I mean, it does cross over into grind a little bit. And thrashcore and that kind of stuff is from 87. They were formed in 84 from Western Supermare. Just fucking, it's fast, brutal. I fucking love it, man. Honestly, love this record. The lyrics have got they'll have songs very political, like with anti-drug mentalities. They'll have songs very strongly against like vivisection, animal testing, animal rights. Then they'll have a song about skateboarding over a line of grannies and calling someone a prick, and and then the first song on this, actually, Abuse, 4 verses, and every verse is basically about a different member of the band, and it's stuff like, what I mean, he cuts holes in his pockets so he can have a wank. It's just stuff like that. So like say, doesn't take itself always seriously, but it's fucking hard, it's fast, it's beautiful, man. I love it. Apparently, never got to see him, obviously. Their gigs used to get chaotic. Like, one of the members ended up in hospital quite severely, beaten by a gang of skinheads, I believe. But not a lot more to say about it. Honestly, go and check it out, because I do believe you can get this, and their other releases as well have been repressed recently, so we'll definitely go and check out. Fucking brilliant stuff, that Ripcord, Defiance of Power.
My first pick, also from the 80s, The Stupids, nice. Peruvian Vacation. Brilliant. There you go. Yeah, so these definitely don't take themselves too seriously. I think this came out in 85, when a lot of bands were talking about animal rights and the government and relevant issues. Yeah. These were really talking about, like, skateboarding and all sorts of mad shit, you know what I mean? Yeah. Fucking having a shit and stuff like that. Yeah. So, So these are all their stuff was recently re-released on Boss Tunage, only on CD, I believe. But these are really great, kind of like early skate thrashy kind of stuff. Yeah. Now, I don't know, but I think these might have been the first straight edge British. If not these, it was either these or Steadfast, which was Lecky's first band from Voorhees. But I'm sure I read somewhere that these were definitely one of the first straight edge bands. I could be wrong. Any like soap stampy guys who, all the fellas might know, well, let me know if that's the case. But yeah, my first pick, Peruvian Vacation by the Stupids.
Very good. Like the humour and that on that just reminds me, not like obviously in sound, but that juvenile kind of reminds me of like early Beastie Boys kind of thing as well.
Definitely,
you know what I mean?
It takes nothing away from the brutalness of the music. It's really fast.
Fucking great.
Fucking lightning quick. It's
excellent.
Brutal, yeah.
Excellent. So pick number 2 for me. I've gone more recent on this one. Gone for Marching On, Violent Reaction from 2014. So these were originally a solo project of Tom Pimlett. Been in quite a few bands over, UK hardcore. These were part of what was called the new wave of UK hardcore. It started as a solo project, I say, and then I believe he relocated to Leeds and formed a band, to play it live, take it out there, kind of thing. It's on Revelation. These were the first non-American band to get signed to Revelation, so that's a big fucking thing. So for me anyway, like this sounds, it's like a crossover between like that classic American straight edge hardcore, maybe with a bit of oi.
Oh, definitely a bit of oi.
Street punk, that kind of sound in there, like. But I think, and they split up not long after. I think a year or so after it, they went out on tour in Europe and then split up just after that. It's just fucking really good, really, really, really good. For me, like definitely of more recent times, one of my more preferred UK hardcore albums. Like I really enjoy it. Highly recommend it. It's fucking great. Again, like I say, go and check it out.
My next pick, probably something a bit more obvious that people might expect me to pick. Strictly 3.5 by Prowler. Now, this is my opinion, right? This is just my opinion, what I'm going to say here. Now, you have hardcore bands that have beatdowns, but then you have bands that specialise in beatdown hardcore.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've spoken to you about this before. I think probably most like a band like Hatebreed has beatdowns, but then you have a band like Bulldoze who specialise in beatdown hardcore. Denied specialise in beatdown hardcore. Yeah. In my opinion, Prowler are like, from these shows, they're like our specialists in beatdown hardcore. Okay. And this album was so long in the making. I remember we played with these in the Slaughterhouse in like 2004 or something, and never seen them before. Heard a few like their demo tracks they'd had, knew they were amazing, and they played, and the fucking singer at the time had these massive fucking dreadlocks. He's a fucking really cool looking singer, and there's moments in this album where you're thinking, oh my, shit slows right down. You think everyone's gonna fucking die in the room right now. It really is like that kind of thing. Just listen to the end of New Blood Anthem. Do you know what I mean? And it's even got a fucking Club of Land cover on it. So, and they're one of the fucking big gems of like 90s beatdown from New Jersey. Obviously, if it's got the Ruction label on, it's going to be of top quality. And what else do I have to say about Prowler other than they are unbelievably good? Not much. Just check them out.
Nice. Yeah, I would have been very surprised if something off Ruction hadn't made your list. Like, even though a lot of the best stuff's EPs as well. Pick 3 for me. I've gone with Spilling Blood Without Reason by Voorhees. I mean, they had to come up, didn't they? Absolute legends, UK hardcore from Durham. They originally ran 91 to 2001, but I believe they still get back together, here and there, and play gigs and stuff. Obviously named after Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, and it's quite a fitting name because the music is fucking violent. Yeah. It's great, man. It's fast, it's relentless. Again, much like I said about Ripcord, actually, just fucking boom. I love it, man. Fronted by Ian Lecky, as you said, fronted Steadfast and quite a few other legendary UK hardcore bands. He's a great frontman as well. Never saw him in Voorhees, but seen him in one of his other at one point. I think I read somewhere anyway, they were influenced by they wanted like that Boston sound.
Negative Effects, they always remind me of that kind of thing.
Very much. I was just going to say SSD, Negative Effects. And I think, like Negative Approach even as well. And I'd say even probably they must be maybe based on obviously the shit as well, but definitely like Infest, stuff like that, that American power violence stuff, I think, as well. It's just like say, it's fucking brilliant. Like, and I believe as well, it's got 26 songs, 13 songs on each side in homage to Friday the 13th, because I think when they were recording it, there was a few less, and they decided to stretch it out to that. But there's a lot been written about this band. You can, they're fucking class. Like say, Legends UK
Like
hardcore.
tour with like fucking Throwdown, I think, in the 90s. And
Definitely,
everything.
yeah. They went to America, didn't they? All kinds. Like they fucking out there. If you've not heard these and you want to get into UK hardcore, these are a staple, especially at the 90s. Fucking amazing stuff.
Well, that sets us up perfectly for my first true or false question. The old tied down card here. Right?
Go on.
True or false? During a gig at Bradford's 1 in 12, on a bill featuring the likes of Slapshot and Voorhees, a member of the audience took to the stage after being told he was dancing too violently, removed his top, and challenged the entire room to a bare-knuckle fight. True or false?
That's gotta be true.
It is true. It is true. And you know what? It's not that far-fetched, not that far out. You know, I've seen stuff like that. Maybe not challenging the whole room to a fight, but, you know, things like that, you know, it's not that far-fetched.
Seen that at punk and hardcore
sure. Maybe not removing the top and saying, I'll have everyone. But yeah, there you go.
But yeah, definitely. Nice.
Right. So my next pick is a much more recent one, and probably not so surprising if you know my tastes. I've gone for Punishment Park by Big Cheese, and the reason it's not so surprising is bands like Breakdown, Outburst, that era of New York hardcore. This is a brilliant homage to all that type of stuff. It sounds very, very Breakdown. The singer sounds quite a lot like Geoff even. And it's not too long. It's about 18, 19 minutes long. Quality Control release a lot of fucking brilliant stuff now. Yeah. But yeah, they've released some good EPs as well. I think they're from Leeds. And very good homage to that era of 80s New York hardcore that I absolutely love. Yeah. So Big Cheese, Punishment Park.
Nice. So my next pick is also a very recent one, and also I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, on Quality Control as well. I've gone for Tales from the Slab by Stiff Meds. Like I say, talking about this is definitely the most recent pick for me. In 2023 this came out. It's fucking amazing. Like, I think they formed around 2019, I think, anyway. It's just fast, it's aggressive, it's brutal. Lyrically, it's quite macabre, but it's like metaphorically done, so it kind of fits in, because they're a hyper-political band. They heard them say, you know, he sings about the world around him, but I'm not giving anyone any answers because I haven't got any kind of thing. But they formed with the intention of, like, because they said a lot of the UK hardcore, and I can't speak for this myself knowing it or not, but he said a lot of UK hardcore around that time when they were forming, I started to go a bit more melodic, and they just wanted to strip right back and go fast and fucking furious. You know, bands like No Comment, Infest again. Yeah. Like heavily influencing this band, definitely. They self-described themselves as cruel music for a cruel world. But I've, definitely for recent UK hardcore, for me, this is fucking amazing. I should definitely go and check them out. Fucking great band. Excellent stuff, like.
My next pick is definitely a more sentimental pick. It reminds me of more simpler, happier times. And it's the album by Walk the Plank. Now, anyone who was around Liverpool in the early to mid 2000s would know that any Walk the Plank gig anywhere in the northwest, really, but in Liverpool, is stuff of legend. Yeah. Like, they were some of the most violent, fun gigs I've ever been to. Now, I've got a little story here to tell you about Walk the Plank. So the worst injury I ever got was at a Walk the Plank gig.
Where was it?
So I was playing Sunday League at the time for this horrible pub in Birkenhead called The Avenue. Mm-hmm. Horrible pub. And we were playing in the Birkenhead Hooligans League, and this league had some of the most disgusting, horrible fucking cunts ever trying to break my legs. And I was having a pretty good season for them. I'd scored like 6 goals in like 10 games from midfield. And then Walk the Plank one weekend decided to have a gig, and I can't remember the venue, but it was in I think it was in one of their practice spaces, right? And I can't remember if it was one of them where it was like kind of like one of them like gigs where it was kind of meant to be on the hush, where like, oh, you know, like a lot of thrash gigs, sometimes they'd have like, you know, meet here and the gigs in this place, you know, and it'd be like in some abandoned fucking place. Yeah. But I remember turning up there, and like literally the whole fucking Liverpool scene was there, right? And we went down I remember going down some steps. I'm sure it was one of their practice spaces. It was tiny, and there was like fucking rusty nails and everything sticking out the fucking bottom of the ceiling, which by the way was dead low. Yeah. I remember at the time thinking, Jesus Christ. I was like, no, I don't think you were at that.
Don't recall that.
I remember going with AJ and maybe 1 or 2 others, and I remember thinking, Jesus, someone's going to get hurt here. Now, Walk the Plank had a song, I think it was called Black Spot. anyone will remember, it started off like I had this like slow kind of riff. I won't take any more of your stupid. Right now, whenever they played that song, you just had a fucking stampede of bodies coming at you. It was just as soon as that hit, like it was just like stampede side to side. You know what I mean? And I remember in this particular gig, they started playing that riff, and everyone started going side to side, and I got someone's fucking kneecap right in the belly of my thigh, full force. And literally, I just remember going like that and just hitting the fucking deck like a sack of shit. Honestly, the pain was unreal. I think some adrenaline managed to get me up and see the rest of the gig out.
Yeah.
But I ended up having a fucking divot in my muscle bone. Like the fucking muscle had come apart. It was that bad. I never kicked the footy for the rest of the fucking year. And I got my fucking Blades of Unity shirt ripped at that gig as well. So I got badly injured and I got my Blades of Unity shirt ripped. And it was a fucking unbelievable gig. Just like every gig by Walk the Plank was. They were like our like kind of like resident band in Liverpool at the time, and we all loved them.
Yeah.
Walk the Plank.
Yeah, every gig I saw of them, usually in like Heaven and Hell, something like that. It was as you described, fucking mental. It was brilliant. My last pick. This is probably my favourite of all my picks.
It's probably my favourite of your picks too.
I've gone for the Hard to Swallow compilation that came out in 2004 on the Armageddon label. I've picked this. I actually prefer this to the album personally. This is a like early EP split, stuff like that put together. Fuck me, it's fucking amazing. So it's like fucking brutal, fast hardcore mixed with sludgy
stuff.
Like kind of like ENT mixed with I Hate God.
Yeah,
is kind of how I think of it. Because like the first song on it, which is only a glimpse of, starts with this roaring feedback, and then the drums kick in. Brutal. The dual vocals like Extreme Noise Terror. And then all of a sudden, it's like Jimmy Bauer from I Hate God is showing up, and this big, sludgy, dirty riff comes in. Fucking amazing. I was in. You know, I love a bit of that stuff anyway. Like, but it's so fucking cool. I mean, like, I know members of these have been in Iron Monkey, Electric Wizard, Killing Floor, Bloody Lovely.
Weren't they in a band called John Holmes? I seem to remember.
Very possibly. Yeah.
I could be wrong.
No, they cycled a few members through the time, didn't they? Do you know what I mean? But it's just fucking class. Like I say, it's intense. It's fucking rips though. It's
that. You know what? As well, talking about like UK hardcore and when they were about, they remind me of a bunch of bands that came out around the time in the 90s that kind of had like kind of a weird experimental approach to hardcore. Like you had them and you had like Stalingrad and Kitto and bands like that had this kind of, you don't really get bands doing that anymore. It was kind of like
pushing some boundaries a little bit, stretching
very
stuff,
much a UK 90s thing.
But this, I mean, it's out now hardcore still at the same time. Like I say, it's right there through. This is only about half an hour long as well. Every song is it's great. I can't sing its praises enough. Like I say, fucking amazing band, Hard to Swallow. Go and get it.
I need to make sure now that I say everything I want to say about my last pick. Right. So,
sit back, I'm ready for this.
If Biohazard and Hatebreed were the bands that put their hand on the doorknob of hardcore for me and started twiddling it a little bit, this next band were the band who fucking took a step back and went, fuck, the door wide open for me. Right. And that band and that album, in my opinion, and I'm going to make the statement here, the best hardcore album of all time. And people are going to be like, ugh, but I don't care. Right. Time Won't Heal This by Knuckledust. Now, first off, this was originally released on the Blackfish label, right? Now, you can't put enough respect on Knuckledust's name. They've been around since 1996. Yeah. It's been the same 4 members ever since then. Yeah. Right. Now, not only is the album incredibly good, right? One of the things Knuckledust do that I just think is, so you know, like when you've got a gang vocal in a like a lot of bands use it. Maybe we'll say a line of gang vocal or a word. Yeah. Knuckledust are one of those very few bands that say full verses in gang vocal, and it might not sound much. You know, it might not sound what's the relevance in that. But what I do is I think that gives the music a much more unique dimension in the sense of it gives the music a much more, we're all in this together.
Just gonna say communal.
Yeah, it gives it like we're all in this together. And whenever you've seen any of the Ruction bands, but Knuckledust especially, I always felt like, you know, you'd be the, if they haven't played up here for years, but when they did, you'd have My Mob in there. You'd look and you'd see like the Blades of Unity guys. You'd see like Bent Legs and the Chester guys. You'd see like the lads from Preston. Everyone was there together. Never ever got a smack it like without a, it was always like. It was always like fucking everyone together.
It was an event, wasn't it, when
yeah, it was always like everyone fucking in it together. And the only band I can really think who do that, not many bands do that where they sing virtually full songs in a gang vocal. The only band I can think of is probably Biohazard. Do you know what I mean? It sounds so small, but it's not. Like I say, it really gives the music that extra sense of like we're all in it together, everyone's in it together. Do you know what I mean? And I think with this, Universal Struggle and Unbreakable, they hit 3 massive home runs. I really do. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't too much of a fan of Promises Come for Fools and that, but obviously this, I remember when I first got this from HMV, I'd already, I had Stamping Ground records, I had Hatebreed records. They were the first band I saw as a hardcore band in a hardcore setting. I'd gone to see Stamping Ground, I'd gone to see Hatebreed, I'd see bands in a metal setting.
Yeah.
Hatebreed were Knuckledust was the first band I saw in a tiny venue, where everyone was going mad, and it's the first time I thought, this is for me. Yeah. This fucking shit here is for me. Do you know what I mean? And they're such a special band, and like I've said it before in videos, what they've done and what Ruction has done for the UK scene can't really be understated. Yeah, understated. And yeah. If you haven't listened to it, please do, because it's the first album, and I certainly think it's the best UK hardcore album anyway. But I'd probably say it's my favourite hardcore album, up there with Urban Discipline and the first Earth Mover record and stuff. But yeah, Time on Heelless, Knuckledust.
King UK hardcore album.
I'd say so.
Yeah, they were fucking good. And it's weird, isn't it? Because out of the 5 I picked and the 5 you picked, I've seen none of the bands I picked live, and I've seen 2 of yours.
Yeah, which brings us to the last true or false question.
Okay.
Right, okay, so we're talking about the UK hardcore scene here. But what you might not know is there's hardcore scenes all over the world.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Even in the most obscure of places, there's hardcore scenes, Geoff.
Okay.
Everywhere.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so true or false? In the Arctic, members of the punk and hardcore scene have their teeth surgically removed to stop them chattering in the cold, thus giving their whereabouts of any gigs away to polar bears.
False.
It's true.
Wow.
It's true.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah, amazing.
See, learn something every day.
That's a nice fact.
There you go. So what are you going for a honourable mention?
I'm going to go Year One by Never Again.
I'm going to go End Time Prophecies by Deal With It.
Nice choice. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Anyway, we're going to join us next week. We're going to be doing top 5.
We're doing our American Hardcore Part 3 video, which is going to concentrate on the EP's 7 inches, which we haven't covered yet.
And so join us next one for that one. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, like, subscribe, ring the bell, jump over Instagram, Facebook, give us a like and a follow. Thanks very much.
That's what I say, that's what I do.